Good evening. Welcome to California Today. I'm David Zhang. Here is a preview of some of today's top stories. Illegal immigrants are reportedly being flown from the southern border to Sacramento. The California DOJ is investigating whether Florida funded the flights. As Apple announces new products at their developers conference, artists are excited with the new virtual headset. An elementary school has become the flashpoint for protests on LGBTQ-related issues. Police had to get involved after a recent confrontation got heated. First up, there is some controversy over illegal immigrants being flown to Sacramento. California officials are investigating whether Florida played any role in sending the migrants to the California capital, who were allegedly sent without advance notice. NTD's Daniel Monahan has more on the unfolding immigration controversy.
16 illegal immigrants from Venezuela and Colombia were dropped off at the doorstep of the Roman Catholic Diocese of Sacramento on Friday. California Governor Gavin Newsom says the migrants were first taken by bus from Texas to New Mexico and then flown by private jet to Sacramento. California Attorney General Rob Bonta says the state is investigating whether there was criminal or civil liability for those who arranged the flight. Bonta said initial findings revealed the migrants had documentation purporting to be from the government of the state of Florida. The Attorney General added that what he called state-sanctioned kidnapping is not a public policy choice, labeling it immoral. DeSantis arranged to transport dozens of migrants to the affluent vacation island of Martha's Vineyard last year. The Florida governor criticized the reactions of cities and states that had proudly declared themselves to be sanctuary destinations in the past to receiving such migrants themselves.
The minute even a small fraction of what those border towns deal with every day is brought to their front door, they all of a sudden go berserk, and they're so upset that this is happening. And it just shows you, their virtue signaling is a fraud.
DeSantis also spoke about the illegal immigration crisis at an Iowa rally on Sunday.
I've heard as a Republican talk about this southern border for years and years and years. I will finally be the president to bring this issue to a conclusion.
Florida approved $12 million in May to transport illegal immigrants from outside Florida to Democrat-controlled areas. Daniel Monahan, NTD News.
Just this morning, another plane carrying migrants from southern border arrived in Sacramento. A source close to the investigation told KCRA that 20 people were on board. The California DOJ has made contact with them, and it appears Florida could be involved in this too. A Los Angeles elementary school has become a flashpoint for LGBTQ issues involving children in California during Pride Month. Police officers had to separate the protesters and counter-protesters during a recent clash.
Protesters outside Satakoy Elementary School on Friday wore T-shirts that read, "Leave our kids alone," and carried signs with slogans such as "Parental Choice Matters" and "No Pride in Grooming." It comes after a transgender teacher's small pride flag displayed outdoors was found burned last month.
These people want to force us back in the closet. They want to impose that every, child should be heterosexual, that the only correct relationships are straight ones, when there are wonderful, beautiful families that attend this very school that are queer, that are happy and wonderful, and they would like to tear those families apart. And quite frankly, I'm not here for that. And I gotta say, if you're gonna bully these kids, not on my watch. I am not gonna sit here and just stand for it and do nothing about it.
Tensions at the school have been rising since last month, when a social media page began urging parents to keep their children home from the school's Pride Assembly.
Nobody has an answer to that. Nobody can answer why they're doing this at an elementary school and not at the high schools or the middle schools, where, this is probably a little more appropriate.
Governor Gavin Newsom also criticized the protesters, calling it a, quote, purge effort going on here by the far right that we have not seen for decades.
A bill proposed in California will limit the cost of a 30-day supply of insulin. The bill is now headed to the state assembly after unanimously passing the Senate.
Senate Bill 90, authored by Democratic Senator Scott Wiener, is now headed to the state assembly for consideration after senators unanimously approved it on May 22nd. The bill is sponsored by the American Diabetes Association, who says, quote, more than 37 million Americans have diabetes, a disease for which there is no cure. Many of these individuals, an estimated 8.4 million, require insulin to live. In California alone, Wiener says that more than 4 million adults have been diagnosed with diabetes, with over 230,000 additional cases diagnosed each year. Lisa Murdoch, Chief Advocacy Officer for the association, says the life-saving medicine is out of reach for many Americans due to its skyrocketing prices. And according to the association's report, the cost of insulin tripled between 2002 and 2013. The proposed legislation will cap copayments and prohibit insurance companies from imposing a deductible, coinsurance, or any other cost sharing on an insulin prescription drug. The bill is currently being reviewed by the Committee on Health in the State Assembly.
A judge dismissed the criminal charges against an energy company who was allegedly responsible for the 2020 fatal wildfire. He says there is not enough evidence that the utility company engaged in criminal conduct.
A California judge on Wednesday dismissed all charges against Pacific Gas and Electric, or PG&E, in connection to a 2020 fatal wildfire sparked by its equipment that destroyed hundreds of homes and killed 4 people, including an 8-year-old. Officials say the utility also reached a $50 million settlement agreement with the Shasta County District Attorney's Office. In 2021, state fire investigators concluded the fire was sparked by a gray pine tree that fell onto a PG&E distribution line. Shasta and Tehama counties sued the utility, alleging negligence, but the utility says the tree was subsequently cleared to stay. Shasta County District Attorney Stephanie Bridget determined that the company was criminally liable for the fire and charged the utility later that year. She says that she has a responsibility to the community and needed to secure what I can for all the citizens to prevent future wildfires, prevent future deaths and devastation, and to be as prepared as our county can be if another one occurs. But according to the Sacramento Bee, Shasta Superior Court Judge Daniel E. Flynn disagreed and in a tentative ruling ahead of a hearing Wednesday said prosecutors did not present enough evidence to show PG&E engaged in criminal conduct. The judge wrote, the tree was not a known risk prior to the Zogg fire, and there is no evidence to support the people's claim in their opposition that it was. Last week, the California Public Utilities Commission approved a $150 million settlement with PG&E over PG&E's role in the Zogg fire. As part of the agreement, the utility will pay $10 million as a penalty to California's general fund and invest $140 million in shareholder funds in new wildfire mitigation efforts.
To start off the week, Apple unveiled new technology at its worldwide developer conference. The big event is also being met with the protesters. NTD's David Lamb reports.
It's a big day for Apple as the Cupertino-based company is unveiling its new technology, including an augmented reality headset and 2 powerful Macs in which they say are the most powerful they've ever built. On the first day of Apple's week-long annual Worldwide Developers Conference, the tech company introduced the Apple Vision Pro, a big move into a new category since the Apple Watch 9 years ago. Apple said the headset has a 3D camera and microphone system to capture videos and pictures.
Oh, it's so exciting to see the headset. I mean, this is a beautiful, beautiful device. And most importantly, the things that are being created for it. They didn't really mention live performance, but this is going to be a really, really big deal for live performance.
I'm very excited to whenever I can finally try one to get my hands on it. That's the big highlight, just being able to work in AR, not being restricted by external monitors or anything like that. You just put on a headset and you can get to work. You can pair Bluetooth keyboard and mouse and all that stuff with it.
Apple usually, when they do a new product category, they do set a standard. And so usually what we can anticipate from the VR industry is a lot of companies are going to try to follow suit with as much as they possibly can from this exact demo.
Apple also announced a 15-inch MacBook Air, powered by an Apple-designed M2 processor chip. The tech company introduced improvements to its iOS software, such as the name drop feature, to more easily share contact information. Others focused on safety and security, like a check-in feature to tell contacts when a user has arrived safely at a destination. Apple said that it was improving the auto-correct feature on iPhone keyboards. At the same time, the Writers Guild of America, who's been on strike, are also on site.
Basically, all of our proposals were related to writer compensation and protections.
The strikers point to Apple's $400 billion revenue reported last year and the growing popularity of AI.
Right now, with the rise of AI, we are facing an existential crisis because the studios are looking to replace human workers with artificial intelligence, even though what we contribute is the actual human experience. And so without us, there would be no film, there would be no television, there would be nothing to watch.
As a result of the strike, the union says several projects for Apple TV Plus have been delayed.
I've been in the Writers Guild for 40 years. Now with streaming and with subscription services, the studios are saying, yeah, we know there's money in it. We don't know how much. We're saying, okay, well, let's figure out the mathematical algorithm and we'll agree on a percentage. They're saying, no, we want to see how this goes. They did the same thing with DVDs and VHS. So we just have to wait till they will come to the table with a reasonable offer.
Apple's Mac Studio and Mac Pro was also revealed at the conference, with orders available today and is expected to be available on June 13th. In Cupertino, California, David Lamb, NTD News.
We'll take a short break now, but here's a look at what we have for you when we come back. Augmented reality, virtual reality, mixed reality, these are among the fastest growing trends in the tech industry. We'll have more on some up-and-coming products. State lawmakers are looking to ban autonomous trucks over safety concerns. Meanwhile, the Air Resource Board is asking for federal approval on the gas car ban. And a Bay Area professional soccer club broke a world record over the weekend. We'll have more on what it took to achieve such a feat. Those stories and more coming up on California Today. Welcome back to California Today. I'm your host, David Zhang. As we just heard before the break, augmented reality is getting more and more advanced. Now, if acronyms like VR, virtual reality, XR, extended reality, and MR, mixed reality, make your head spin, you are not alone. I went to conduct a reality check at the Augmented World Expo and learn about some of the latest trends and products that excite the XR community at large. Started in 2010 as a small get-together of a group of virtual reality enthusiasts, the Augmented World Expo has grown into one of the largest XR community events for thousands of companies and professionals.
So regular laptop, you've got a 13-inch monitor, maybe you've got a 15-inch monitor. That's sort of the extent of your screen real estate. This gives you the form factor of a 13-inch laptop and the size and weight of one, but you've got a 100-inch monitor.
Welcome to your space top, and you can go ahead and get started. So you can use the trackpad, the keyboard and the trackpad, just like you would with a normal laptop. So you can start by pressing the OK.
Okay, step back a little bit. So we got browser.
Yeah. And the balance here is to strike between all of that sort of whiz-bang cool stuff versus making it simple, dead simple to operate. Anybody who's used a laptop will be able to use a space top.
The space top gives you the ultimate privacy as nobody can see your screen except you. And the company can customize and then add on glass for you if you wear corrective lenses.
We're trying to bring AR backwards into the present, because right now it's still all future. Eventually it'll be cool. This is a bridge. This is the device that bridges those two things, the productivity and convenience of a laptop with the magic of AR and the benefits of having sort of massive screen real estate and that ability to paint information on the world around us.
Other than visual senses, one of the other ways to experience the virtual world is through the senses of touch. And Haptex is the industry leader in haptic gloves that gives users the most realistic feel of touches in their hands.
We generate compressed air, we push it through valves that direct it into the right spot, and we put it inside gloves, and that air depresses your skin, that simulates the feeling of contact with a real object, and we can do this in virtual reality with amazing precision.
MarketWatch predicts that extended reality market is growing at 45%, projected to surpass $1.1 trillion by 2030. Speaking of vehicle bans, the California Air Resources Board is asking the federal government for permission to ban gas-powered cars. This comes as the state continues to push for a rapid transition from gas vehicles to all-electric.
California's Air Resources Board, or CARB, has recently asked the Biden administration for permission to ban the sale of gas-powered vehicles. However, the American fuel and petrochemical manufacturers urged President Joe Biden to reject California's request in a May 26th letter, saying, quote, "This is an unprecedented move. It will deny millions of Americans the ability to choose for themselves the types of cars or trucks they want to drive." The letter also urged Congress to push back against the movement in defense of consumers, the nation's energy, and national security. The group said approving California's waiver could trigger 20 other states to follow with their own bans. This includes Rhode Island, Washington, Virginia, Vermont, Oregon, New York, and Massachusetts, all of which have adopted similar regulations to ban gas cars by 2035. CARB voted last year to ban the sale of new internal combustion vehicles in California by 2035. The Advanced Clean Cars 2 Act will also phase out gas-powered vehicles over the next 12 or so years. The push for electric vehicles is part of Governor Gavin Newsom's Climate Action Plan. His plan also included moves to build wind turbines offshore in the ocean.
California lawmakers voted to pass a bill that would ban autonomous trucks. They claimed these trucks would eliminate thousands of jobs for human drivers and is unsafe on the highway. But opponents believe Californians will benefit from autonomous trucks. It's now up to Governor Newsom to sign or veto the bill. California lawmakers voted on Wednesday to pass Assembly Bill 316. It will ban autonomous trucks from operating without a driver and requires a safety driver to always be present. The Teamster and other labor groups support the measure. They claim driverless trucks would eliminate thousands of good-paying jobs for human drivers and pose a safety concern. Commercial truck driver Fernando Reyes said, quote, "The thought of it barreling down the highway with no driver behind the wheel is terrifying and unsafe. AB 316 is the only way forward for California." But the Autonomous Vehicle Industry Association called AB 316 a preemptive technology ban and claims that an autonomous truck is safer than a vehicle operated by a human driver. The California Department of Motor Vehicles, or DMV, is considering allowing autonomous vehicles over 10,000 pounds to hit the road without consent from the California legislature. The bill now heads to Governor Gavin Newsom for his signature or veto. Over the weekend, a professional soccer club from the Bay Area attempted to host the largest soccer lesson, and their efforts paid off as they broke the Guinness World Record.
The San Jose Earthquakes broke the Guinness World Record for hosting the largest soccer lesson in Morgan Hill, California.
Exhausted and really, really happy.
I feel amazing to be part of this, and I'm so happy that they did this for the community. It's awesome.
TikTok it. Every couple taps.
Quakes legend Shea Salinas gave a 30-minute lesson on the fundamentals of dribbling, passing, and shooting.
There was a few key things that I wanted to talk about. There's only two things you can control, your work ethic and your attitude. So today, our goal was to work hard and to have a good attitude. And then the other thing was to work on your weaknesses. If there's something you're not very good at, if you practice it, if you work hard enough at it, you can get better at it.
Anyone 5 and older could participate for free. 956 people participated in the event on Saturday. The previous record was 835 participants organized by an organization in Australia.
Today, you had 956. It's a new Guinness World Records title. San Jose Earthquakes, I'd like to congratulate you, Shay.
I was really surprised by people's energy today. I mean, I didn't have to tell them to cheer, I didn't have to tell them to clap. After every drill, people were clapping, people were encouraging each other. Almost everyone was participating. It was just a really positive event for this community.
I'm part of a Guinness Book of World Records.
Got a good workout, yeah?
I got Shay's autograph. Go Quakes!
Go Quakes!
Oh, I feel good, feel accomplished. It's such a beautiful day out, great breeze. Not the lesson I thought it would be. Definitely, got a good workout in, so motivation to keep working out a little bit more.
It was actually really fun.
It was really fun.
I enjoyed all of the different exercises we did and hanging out with everyone. It was honestly fantastic.
And the body armor as well.
Yeah.
It's not the first time the San Jose Earthquakes set a Guinness World Record. In October 2012, over 6,200 people participated in groundbreaking day for starting construction on the club's stadium. The previous record was over 4,500 set by a group in India.
Now let's check in with NTD's Tyler Castile for more sports.
Let's dive into the sports roundup for today. I'm Tyler Castillo.
The Anaheim Ducks have officially announced Greg Cronin as their new head coach. This came after the Ducks fired Dallas Eakins after the team had the worst record in the league this past offseason and failed to make the playoffs since 2018. Greg Cronin has been before the assistant coach to the New York Islanders and the Toronto Maple Leafs. His most recent occupation was head coach of the minor league team, the Colorado Eagles, from 2018 to 2023. Basketball great LeBron James will be the official starter at the 24 Hours of Le Mans sports car race this weekend, organizers of the Endurance Classic said on Monday. The NBA's all-time leading scorer and four-time champion joins a list of celebrity starters who have carried out the ceremonial role over the decades. King James will unleash the 62-strong field on Saturday. James is a partner in Fenway Sports Group, who co-owned the RFK Racing NASCAR team. The US-based stock car series is celebrating its 75th anniversary. Shohei Ohtani delivered a tie-breaking RBI double with 2 outs in the 8th inning, and Los Angeles salvaged the final of a 4-game series with a victory over host Houston. Ohtani drove a 3-2 curveball from Astros reliever Phil Maton off the wall in right field, scoring Zach Neto from first base and snapping a 1-1 deadlock. The Angels snapped their 3-game skid behind the exceptional pitching of starter Griffin Canning and relievers Chris Davinsky and Carlos Estevez, who earned his 14th save in as many opportunities by recording the final 4 outs. Angels 2, Astros 1.
And that is all for the sports roundup for today. I'm Tyler Castillo.
Thanks, Tyler. And that's all we've got for you tonight. We would like you to join us again on California Today every weekday at 8 p.m. Make sure to check out our broadcasts at ntd.com/California-today. You can also find all of our top latest clips there, ready to share with friends and family. Send us a message on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Ganjing World, or through our email, california.today@ntd.com. I'm David Zhang. Have a wonderful evening.